Welcome to Pattern and Craft. I'm Courtney, and in today's knitting quick tip video, I wanted to show you how to tink back. So I just did a little example with this, and I want to undo what I did because it's not in pattern. So I'm going to undo my knitting. So I have my little yarn coming out. This is the stitch I just made. I'm going to kind of pull it up so that I can see how there's this stitch below. I give myself a little space, and then I'm going to insert my needle into there and then pull the yarn to undo the stitch I had just made. So this one is a purl stitch, so I'm going under the purl bump through the stitch below, releasing the stitch and undoing that stitch, just pulling out by the yarn. Here is another purl, so I'm going under the purl bump through the stitch below, releasing the yarn and pulling so that I can take that yarn out without it getting caught. This is a knit stitch, so instead of going below a purl bump, I'm just going directly into this stitch. You can see I just pull up on this yarn so that it opens this little opening. That is the stitch I want to keep, so I stick my needle in. I remove my needle from the stitch I had made and just simply pull it out. So this is called tinking back. This keeps all your stitches on the needle. Here's another knit stitch. I just kind of pull that yarn out so I can get into the stitch below the one I just made, and just pull that yarn to undo the stitch. And it gets faster as you get used to it. You just insert into that stitch. Make sure you're inserting front to back so that your stitches don't get twisted. If you were inserting up through the stitch, your stitch is now twisted. You want your right leg of your stitch to be towards the front. So make sure you're not doing that. Just going into the stitch below, pulling out the stitch you made. Needle into the stitch below, pull out the stitch you made. And it works the same for knit stitches or purl stitches. That's a knit stitch, that's a purl stitch, that's a knit stitch, that's a purl stitch. So just when you have a purl stitch, make sure you're going under the purl bump, and when you have a knit stitch, you're just going through the stitch, knit, purl. So this little purl bump, you want to be under it and through the stitch, then pull your yarn out, and so on. So that's how you tink back. That's how you undo either a row or just a few stitches if you notice you've made a mistake. And you just want to undo your knitting a little bit, but not have your stitches come off the needles at all. Just still have everything contained. It's as if you never knit those stitches in the first place. There we go, that's tinking back. So another option for undoing your stitches that isn't this tinking back method would be to just take your stitches off the needle. It's a little scary, and then pull them out as you put them back on. Let me do that a little bit more. So I have my loose free stitches here, and I'm pulling them out, and one by one putting that little undone stitch back on the needle. This can be a little scary because maybe stitches that you don't intend to come undone, but I have done it this way as well. So that's another option. I'll show you again. So I'm going to take a few stitches, not all of them, but a few. Take them off my needle, pull out one by one the yarn as I replace the stitch that I undid, the little loop back on my needle on the left. The only thing is you do want to be careful because sometimes these stitches are going to want to twist. So make sure you're still getting the right hand side of the stitch that you just put back on your needle is on the front of your needle, and the left hand leg of your stitch is towards the back. So that's another way that I've done tinking back, is just undo a few stitches, put them back on. If you don't like the technique of undoing them one by one, from one needle to the other, from the right back to the left. But either way, you can undo your knitting without just ripping it all out and then not knowing what to do next. That's never fun. So try to do it in a controlled manner if you do need to go back a few stitches or go back a few rows. And you'll save yourself some headache and some time, and maybe save your knitting altogether. Okay, I hope that was helpful. I hope you don't have to use this technique too much. Hopefully we don't make too many mistakes to where we have to redo things, but it happens, so hopefully that helps. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to check the description for my links to my socials and shops. If you enjoyed the video, please like it and maybe share it around. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel for further content from me for knitting, crochet, and other crafts. And I'll see you next time. Happy crafting!